My Christianity used to be an absolute roller coaster ride of ups and downs, and it was because I had based it upon my external circumstances, what I was going through in life. So if things were going well, then God loved me and Him and I were okay. But if things weren't going well, if my life was falling apart, then I had obviously done something to really upset God, and maybe He didn't love me as much as I thought. Of course, none of that is true, because no matter what you're going through in life, God is who He says He is, and you are who God says you are. There's this amazing hymn called "It Is Well With My Soul," and it was written by a guy called Horatio Stafford in 1873. And he wrote this incredible hymn after losing a 4-year-old son. His business had just been destroyed in the Chicago fires, and his wife and 4 daughters were sailing across to Europe. Their ship sunk, and all 4 of his daughters drowned. He was following after his wife, and as he sailed past the same piece of ocean, that was where he stopped and wrote the song, "It Is Well With My Soul." How is that possible? How can you stand in the midst of such loss and such sorrow and say, I'm okay, it's okay on the inside? How is that even possible? Well, I think the question is answered in the verse where he says he has this blissful joy of knowing that his sin was nailed to the cross with Christ and crucified. And he says, my sin in full, not in part, but in full, was crucified with Christ. See, he understood the gospel. He understood that he was fully redeemed, that because of what Christ had done, he was made righteous in the eyes of God, and that the gospel message meant that he could have a joy on the inside, that whatever was going on around him didn't matter. He was okay. The Apostle Paul writes about this in Philippians. He says here in chapter 1, no matter what, I will continue to hope and passionately cling to Christ, so that he will be openly revealed through me before everyone's eyes. So I will not be ashamed. In my life or in my death, Christ will be magnified in me. What a statement. He says, whether I live or I die, good or bad, it doesn't matter. Christ will be magnified. He goes on to say, whatever happens, keep living your lives based on the reality of the gospel of Christ. So he's saying, look, it doesn't matter what you're going through. Know that you've been saved by Jesus, and because of what he's done for you, you can be okay on the inside. And most people have heard of Psalm 23, where David writes about the Lord being our good shepherd and leading us beside still waters and green pastures and restoring our soul. In that psalm, though, he talks about the valley of the shadow of death. And of course, the Lord hasn't changed. He's still the good shepherd. He's still leading David. So whether he leads him by still waters or through the valley of the shadow of death, the only thing that's changed is the terrain, is the environment around David. The Lord is still the good shepherd, and David is still a sheep following after him. And I love how the Passion Translation says this. Here it says, Lord, even when your path takes me through the valley of deepest darkness, fear will never conquer me, for you already have. I love that. What a great thought. Fear will not conquer me because you, Lord, you've already conquered me. You have my life. I've surrendered all to you. I am dead to self and alive to Christ. Of course, Jesus is perfect love. And if we are alive to Christ, we're alive to perfect love. And perfect love casts out all fear. So I want to encourage you today. It doesn't matter what you're going through in life, whether it's good, bad, a mountaintop or a valley. Be encouraged that God is who he says he is, and you are who God says you are. Know that the gospel has set you free from sin. It has set you free from self. And live in that truth in a place of joy.